What's up, YouTube world and Jeremy's World 10? It is me, Jeremy, and I am back here in the podcast studio, ready to have some fun. Now, I took a little bit of a hiatus, COVID and all that craziness. People didn't want to come and hang out, but we're really going to make an attempt to, do this again, come up in here and hang out and talk to really, really cool people that are in every different aspect of life. And today I have one of those very, very special people here in the studio. I'm super excited about it. We've got to meet before, and it was like, her personality is just amazing, and it would be so fun to just come up here in the attic and talk. So without any more jibber jabbering, I want to introduce to you my new friend, Lidia Rico.
Hey, what's up?
So if you don't know Lidia, you've been living the van life for quite some time, and go figure, us at Weld Tech Designs, we build crazy vans for people like you that want to go and not just live the van life, but really you are interested in overlanding, you like off-roading, you like getting your hands dirty, and you want to essentially learn more about it.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the idea of being alone in the middle of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? And having my bed with me.
I'm going to stop her from swinging. It's like a little kid. She's having so much fun in here. I mean, this is great. We're going to have to we're going to stop her from swinging. We're going to take away the swivel chair.
Yeah, come on. I'm a little nervous, It's good. My first podcast, guys. Be nice to me,
Oh, that's just what's great about it. It's like there's no expectation, just having fun up here. But so now tell me, first of all, how long have you been living in a van?
So I've been living in a van for like 9 years now, and I started living in an RV first. My ex used to have an RV, and I just met him. He was already doing it, so I just jumped in and, lived with him for so many years.
So there you go, guys. If you're worried if you're living in a motorhome or van, you still have a great possibility of dating a beautiful girl like this, I mean, she just said, I jumped into his motorhome and it was all...
It didn't work out, guys, so...
Hey,
I don't know. Maybe
we're gonna blame we're going to blame it on the guy, though, and not the van life.
We're definitely blaming it on the guy.
Yeah,
sure.
so I just want to, be reassuring to all of you men and women out there in the van life world. Hey, dating. And so definitely it's possible.
It's possible. I'm still hopeful, I see life with different eyes right now. I learned so much from my marriage and all these years traveling with somebody, and, I learned what I'm not going to do ever again. And I learned the good and the bad, I'm not regretting of anything. So.
And I think that's the big thing, because even the whole premise of Jeremy's World 10 is we're always on that constant journey to find our best life. We're always in search for that perfect 10. And really in life, you never really get to it, because what you may believe is, hey, when I get to this point, that would be the perfect life. Yeah. I meet a man, I make X amount of money, whatever your expectations are. And then you get there and you're like, well, I want to do more.
Right.
And that's the great part to me about life, is just that.
Also, that's why van life for me makes sense. But some people is like, oh, you're living my dream. You're living this, perfect life. And it's like, well, yes and no, because it's also a nightmare, It's also a lot of things that go wrong and things that are unexpected. And like we were talking earlier, living with a person in a really small space, that also, is a lot of friction, and it's very difficult sometimes.
I don't know how you do it, because I tell my wife, I'm like, if I had to live in this space with you, I would want to murder you probably, so that's definitely not good. Yeah, no,
David Petito,
Oh, yeah, which is crazy.
That was, to me, talking about that makes me sweat, because, I've been there where you are arguing with your partner and you're in a parking lot, because you live in a van. So sometimes happen where people see me
or in the middle of nowhere.
Right. Also that, I'm in a national park and people's like, oh, YouTube comments I hear you guys, you were arguing. I'm like, God, dude.
Right.
I was at Zion or some shit.
Yeah. No, and that's where, it's totally, there's just so much that goes into it that people don't necessarily think about, I mean, they think, oh, it's great. I get to live in a van. I get to travel every day. Possibly if you have a job where you're able to work remotely, now since COVID, that's opened up a huge door for people where also, they can work remotely.
I want to talk about this misconception that I've been traveling for 9 years. I swear I lived in a van in the same town for years without moving much, saving money. Telling you that. I was living in a van, not moving. And that's something that a lot of people does, that they really do van life. People that really, really do van life, they're not always traveling and taking photos. I'm doing that now because I'm not even traveling that much, but I take photos and I do this for my job because I develop,
So let's talk about that real quick. So now, you say now, yes, now van life has become more than just a way of life, but it has become a way of making a living and not working necessarily remotely, but actually doing promotions or doing stuff through other things. So first of all, let's tell people, where can they see, if they want to come and follow you, where can they do that at?
Yeah, you guys can find me on YouTube. My channel is Lidia Rico, and you can also find me on Instagram. I have a page for my van that is called Gypsy Tribe, and I have another page for myself that is my name, Lidia_Rico. So go follow me there and see all the cool photos and videos I make. I honestly share my honest perspective with, some, humor, because I love to laugh about everything, and I'm trying to be positive, but there is also bad things, and I share everything because I feel I am, doing van life before anybody I know. And
before van life was cool. Let's say that.
I guess before the hashtag, I guess, I saw people doing van life after I was doing it for years. So I'm like, oh, that's van life, what I'm doing. People was thinking I was a freaking homeless, People was leaving me food in the windshield, they leftovers. It's not even good food. I was like, I'm good, I don't need I'm just living in an RV. But people back then didn't see it that way. They called the cops and it's like, get out of my town, I was like, van life. Then I was like, oh, the people make money living this way? It became more acceptable.
Let's say that, it almost became more of
I'm telling you the truth. I never tell this anybody. I started a YouTube channel because everybody I saw on YouTube were fake AF. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anybody that I was looking in YouTube that they were doing van life, they were all fake van life. And we, or real people that we do van life, we have this inside joke. We say fake van life. There is fake van life all over YouTube. Like 9 times out of 10, they don't even live in their van. They're just doing it for engagement. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be me. I definitely don't live in my van. I may go camp in it randomly.
No, but
and I may put hashtag van life, but I'm not. I'm throwing that out there.
But you're not doing what a lot of people is doing, getting super nasty. Oh yeah, let's do all of these videos. Tell everybody where to park, what to do, so they like us. We get the subscribers. We get all the clout.
Right. No, I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All my friends that we live in the area, that we live in vans, that we don't have a crazy Sprinter van, expensive, that we come from money and stuff. People that lives in Chevys and stuff like that, different kind of vehicles, we know the fake van life.
So let's talk about that. So we've said that you've been living in a van or motorhome for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
And then you transferred into a van, and let's talk about that. So you are in a Ford E350 van, and it used to be an ambulance. We love building those. Those are super cool.
It was fun.
And a little bit creepy. You think about all the...
I did a sage cleaning. I throw everything away. I went to OB. If you guys know, you guys know. I bought some sage, and I cleaned that shit.
Yeah. No, because I'm like... I get it. It's such a good shell to build a vehicle.
It's always bad and good.
Yes.
That vehicle helped a lot of people.
There you go.
And also some people died in there, But hey.
Right. We can't control that.
Gene and John.
Yeah. So, no, that's definitely... so now how long have you been actually in this van?
It's going to be 4 years now.
Okay. Yeah. And now this van started out as a 2-wheel drive van, and, the guys over at WeldTech love building 2-wheel drive vans. We love 2-wheel drive vans just because, 4x4 is great, but it's really expensive as, you're coming to learn doing that conversion yourself.
For me, my experience with the 4x4 and the lift that I have, because I would like to tell you, I have a Ford E350, super duty
7.3 diesel.
No, it's 6.0.
6.0.
It's doing. It has like almost 500,000 miles on it, so it's running good still. Everything is working good. And what I would say is that with the stock fucking suspension, it was like horrible. It was getting stuck everywhere. I couldn't go anywhere. So we were really bummed.
She never came to WeldTech Designs to get a two-wheel drive kit.
Yeah. We were really doomed, and we were like, I hate this experience. We cannot go anywhere. Only parking lots. I'm sick of parking lots. So me and my ex, checked the prices for the kids of some, can I say them?
Yeah.
Union Off-Road, and then we just got the kit, and
that's what's great.
Yeah,
so
it took time, but like what I will tell you, the 4x4 is not what I use the most. It's like the high clearance and the good tires. Like sometimes just having that got me everywhere. Like yes, if it's soft sand, if it's mud, if it's some crazy situation where it's super soft, thank God I have the 4x4.
Right.
But mostly high clearance, if I had to crawl some rocks and stuff like, it's like, it's no way you're going to do it with something that's not lifted.
Right. Or the small tires. Yeah. And that's the problem. You either have to lift it or you have to do a 4-wheel drive conversion on it to get it to the height in order to just give you the clearance to run a bigger tire to avoid those obstacles that you're talking about. I mean, that's the key thing.
People don't understand the importance of putting air down of your tires, having the right tires, and having the right clearance. With that, sometimes it's like if you just put the air down and then you're able to put it back up when you go on the road again, on the pavement, that is saving your tires. Like you just have to make sure.
I think it's a super valid point. I mean, we talk about that in a lot of the stuff that is done at WeldTech Designs as far as just by
know how to drive.
Well, yeah, that's the big part of it.
Right.
But really just having the proper suspension and being able to air down, like air pressure makes the hugest difference in a vehicle. And then being able to just air your tires back up. So whether you do like an onboard air, like an ARB system,
that's what I have,
or you do a, just a Via Air system, like some of those.
I have a Via Air.
So yeah, anything like that, just to be able to air your tires back up is going to be great. Now, talking about great places, where have you gone in your van that is going to be number one? Like, where's your favorite place? I mean, I know that you got to travel you went down into Baja California.
I mean, if you know me, I'm not going to tell you the location, but I would tell you the area. I mean, Utah is pretty impressive to me. It's one of the states that kind of make my mouth be like open, like
just
all
because
the time.
The scenery is amazing.
Everything in Utah is just insane. I don't know. Like there is a lot of waterfalls and things like you can off-road to, that if you're really interested in off-roading, Utah has one of the best off-roading.
It does.
I think.
I'm with you. We went to Utah last year and we did a drive where we went and started right outside of oh my gosh, the first city when you get into Utah. Now I drew a blank in it, and actually drove all the way out to the Grand Canyon, to the edge of it. And it was such a fun drive, as well as just the scenery is amazing. The mountains,
I just feel the
everything.
Dinosaurs are going to come any minute.
So that's what's funny is we actually went to one of the places where there's dinosaur footprints, like in the mud, like fossil footprints. I mean, it was really neat for me.
It is. It's just, you're thinking in another world. Like it's definitely you feel the energy there or something in Utah. I don't know. There is also these weird people there too.
Hey, there's weird people everywhere these days, I mean, heck, we're in California, and most people would say that California has to be the weirdest people
Don't go to Venice Beach. Don't go to Venice Beach.
Yeah, I mean, hey, so, I mean, to each their own, that's the great part about just being human. You just get to, live your best life and, I mean, sometimes we're the weirdos depending on where we're at.
Yeah, I'm always the weirdo. I know.
So I just learned to accept it and go with it, So I know that you did a big excursion. You went down into Mexico for how long?
Almost 6 months, like 5 months and some days.
Okay.
It was hot, and I just had to come back, and I was getting sick of it eventually.
And I get it, because we used to go down to Mexico when we would go for the 500, the 1,000, and we'd be down there for like 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, this is fun, but I'm ready to go home. Like, you can only eat so many tacos and beer, and you hang out on the beach, and it's great.
Yeah, I was missing, something really crazy. It's the first thing I ate when I crossed the border. I went to Panda Express, bro. I was like, some real
authentic Chinese food, Panda Express. So I'm
like, give me some.
Not a burger from In-N-Out. No, just straight Panda.
I don't know. It was the closest place, like by the border, that sounded something like not Mexican. So I was like, yo,
Panda Express.
And it was so many people that I could tell they just did the same thing than me.
They're like,
I could
okay,
tell.
we're back.
Yeah, I could tell.
Which is crazy, because you can get Chinese food, obviously.
Well, I don't know.
Don't trust it.
No. I didn't get much other food. Like maybe some sushi, but everything was kind of like fish-related items,
Yeah. You're like, okay, I have enough fish tacos.
Enough fish with everything, enough zinc, like some grease.
I mean, that's, definitely. And that leads me into this next thing is, I know you had some crazy experiences going into Baja, down in Baja. Let's just touch base on that without,
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That's definitely one of the craziest experiences that I had in the whole entire time I've been living on the road and doing like traveling in, different countries and places. And maybe you guys know because you saw it on YouTube because it has a lot of views, this video. The police, or I don't know if it was the cartel or who was, because some people in the comments was saying that the dude that was, harassing us, he didn't have a Mexican flag anywhere on the uniform. So it could be just cartel. And basically because I speak Spanish and I was driving, this police at the border was telling, like intensively, like scaring me, like telling me he was gonna take me with him, and like that I needed to get out of there with him with my passport because we had these like CBD oil creams or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to come with me. And I was like so scared because it's like I hear all these stories where you just don't come back, and I was like, I'm not leaving this vehicle. I don't care. Some people told me that I should never pay him how much he asked. Like he asked first $1,000, and I was like, no, I don't have $1,000. And he's like, well, amiga, it's gonna be instead $500, and then you're on your way. And I was like so scared. Like people say that you can control situations and stuff with the police in Mexico, and I'm telling you, at a certain point, yes. When you're like on the street, there is more people around you and everything, but there's moments where they're very scary when it's like a checkpoint or when it's the border. Those moments you're nobody because they all have guns. People don't understand that side of the story. And I had dogs barking at me. Like I was thinking like the dog was gonna bite me. That police was gonna take me with him, and he was like nonstop talking Spanish and scaring me. So that was just to get in Mexico. The first hour.
Day one.
And people say, oh, it's because you never been there. Like, no. I've been in Mexico before. And my van looked really bad before. So they didn't care. My van used to look like the ambulance. So I went to Mexico looking like that bad. Basically with different colors and patches. And the van wasn't even built inside. It was like a cooler. They didn't care that day. They just were nice. And like we went in and out. It was fine. The second time, my van was 4x4. It looked like inside like an entire building apartment. Right. So they were like, oh, they have money. And, they did what they did to get what they wanted.
And it's sad because it's like maybe just taking advantage of that situation. I've gone to Mexico.
Yeah, it happened to everybody. Times, like the year that I did it, like everybody that we stayed in this campsite, like everybody that it was at that campsite got like hassled that year. It was because it was the first since they opened up everything for the
since COVID opened again.
So they were really hungry, They were really like, and then, you learn your things. Like I learned, to have 2 wallets, I learned to have one wallet that I show it to them and they can take whatever they want from that wallet. And my real wallet is somewhere really
and that is such a great
secret
tip
space.
Because I will tell you that, I've been going down to Baja for, 20 years. And I would always do that. I would have, this is my wallet. And I would just have the bare minimum stuff in it. And then, you put your real money somewhere else just in case,
Even my passport, everything, I have a secret compartment on my vehicle. Like everybody should have a secret compartment. And I had everything that is valuable, including my hard drives, because everything needs to be like away from anybody, like I was really paranoid because that video was going live and it went viral. So the police and everybody was like, yo, we want the footage. I'm like, people's going to kill me. Like, I was hiding entirely an entire month in Mexico in an Airbnb because I was scared people was going to kill me.
Well, I think that's why we all go to Mexico, is to hide for a certain extent, We
but
just
then
after
that, it kind of like fizzled away after, like a month. And then other problems showed up. So people forgot about us on the video. And I had a good time. Mexico is probably one of the best places I've been with the van. And it was rough at the same time. It's like always, you get the best beach in the entire universe with no internet and no food for 2 hours. So it's like good for a day and a half, and then you gotta go back because you need things and you need to check on people being alive and stuff,
Right. And now how far south did you guys go into Mexico?
All the way south. We basically I basically lived there south by Cabo area.
Okay.
Not Cabo, but like that south, like for 4 months. That was basically almost the entire trip I was there.
Down towards Cabo.
Yeah, towards the south.
Okay.
Like all that area where there is a lot of sites for whales.
Okay.
So basically, I guess that's the most magical place I've been. There is a town south that you can park, and it's on the sand. If you have 4x4 capabilities, you're literally seeing whales out of your literally back doors. And I wake up every day looking at whales, like
sounds amazing.
Splashing. And I was like thinking, like, this is free. I'm like, what? And I was thinking, is internet, like there is like a couple places where it's like paradise. So that place was top number 1 for sure.
So now you just need Starlink on the next trip down to Mexico.
I don't know. I need to see if it's true. I think it's a lot of fuzz, but I don't think it's that good.
I have it and I love it.
You like it?
I do.
And you upload YouTube videos in the middle of nowhere?
We do
that's what
so
I
much
wanna
stuff.
know.
Yeah, I don't have to upload YouTube videos usually for me, but I know that people that have it and what they are doing is, it's pretty neat. And we use it for some of the shows when we go out to the desert and just, the service and the connectivity is pretty neat.
It's for safety reasons. I gotta give you that. I would like to have it because I don't like the fact of not having the internet, and it's definitely limitating. But it's also liberating as well because I'm not looking at my phone.
There's times when we're out at the desert and I'm like, no, just turn it off because I don't want my kids to have internet. Yeah. I'm like, no, we don't need it. But, there is that happy medium
in Mexico, for safety reasons, fuck, I feel like yes, like you probably want to have it. Yeah. I don't even think I would go back again in Mexico with the van if I'm not, to be honest.
Now, what about, because you guys did that kind of by yourself, and I know that a lot of people will do like expeditions down there and do like a group of people where then they feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it was, after that, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was sleeping with a knife on my, by my, I was like, we both had knives. And we both like know how to get out of that spot really good. And every time we go park, for like the first 2 weeks after what happened, we were like on alert mode with clothes on, and like every door was locked and everything was like everything thought about. If they come from here, we go there. We had even things around the van sometimes to make noise and see if they come somebody, like, because we were that paranoid, like.
And that just is so discouraging.
Because he's alone. We're alone. Like I was alone. There is like comments in places that are like I overlander and stuff. In this spot, I got a gun point at me, and they robbed my money. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not parking here. And if I have to park, because then, you know, the thing with Mexico, you don't want to drive at night. And people tell me all the time, it's because the roads are bad and the cows. It's like, no, dude, it's because they kill you at night and nobody sees it. So I'm seriously not driving at night for that reason.
No, and it's always wild. I mean, I know I have a story. Like one time we were pre-running for the Baja 500, and we were running our section at night. And I remember just being out in the middle of nowhere and all of a sudden seeing like lights on the road. And we're like in the middle of nowhere off-roading.
That happened to me.
And
several times.
We came up and it was the Federales, and they had us get out of our race car and kind of just looked it all over and made sure we weren't, you know, trafficking drugs, I guess, in the middle of the night. And I'm with you. And it's that same thing. It's like they could have killed us. They didn't even have to kill us. They could have just left us there, taken the car, and been like, see you later. And I don't know that we would have even...
Because that's the thing with my van. There is all these spots where normally not all these van life people goes because it's 4x4. So there is this side of the road things that you know, like check on the maps, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's a good way to go. There is not even nobody that knows that I'm there.
And who knows how long until somebody else is even going to be coming there that would even find you.
Because there is so many little nooks and beaches and like little paths like all over the Sea of Cortez. And that's, you know, beautiful. It's also gorgeous, but I got several times locals showing up and telling me, this is private, you can't be here. I'm like, what? Like, and I had to leave because it's like a sketchy car with this dude in there. And I'm like, okay, if you're telling me to leave, then okay, I'm packing my stuff. Like, give me 2 seconds, you know?
Right. So now you've been back up here living in the United States. And now mainly you are here in San Diego, or where do you where is now, what do you call, I mean, I know home is in the van and home is wherever you park it. You know, but where are you actually, you know?
Normally, I like Southern California, but honestly, in the past 6 months, I've been in Maui, in Puerto Rico, in Vegas, Palm Springs, all over, you know, from LA to here several times. I'm just moving all the time. I went to Spain. I'm thinking about going to Spain again. So I'm like kind of always moving since my divorce, I guess.
So now that leads me to the next question then would be like because now you just went to Puerto Rico and you got to live in somebody else's van.
Yeah, it was like actually a 4x4 Bronco with a setup of a tent.
Okay.
And then also I stayed in a Sprinter van.
Okay. Those darn Sprinter vans. So, you know, that's really cool as well. So, guys, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to keep this conversation going with Lidia, talking about more of some of the obstacles that she faces just living the real van life here in the United States. Some of the great places that she gets to visit. So I want to talk about that Spain. I would just absolutely love to go to Spain. I love to travel, but I love to travel to places with beaches. I'm big.
Right.
I'm like, I want to go where it's warm. I get to go scuba diving, do fun stuff like that. So that's definitely great. So we're going to jump into some of the obstacles, of van life here in it as well. So I definitely hope that you guys are enjoying this, hanging out with Lidia here in the attic. So guys, it's Jeremy's World 10. I'll see you guys in just a minute.